how important is it that you've learned the attire that they're wearing going out in the ring?
I actually got one of the best compliments of my life was when someone told me that I have the opportunity to make or break anybody, because before the fans get a chance to let the wrestler prove themselves, they're getting judged on what they look like when they come out on the ramp. So if we haven't created a perfect image, they're being judged a little bit before they even get that opportunity to showcase themselves. So that's why I like working with them so much, to help make sure that their gear reflects who they want to portray in the ring.
You also have mentioned about Christian and working in his gear and everything like that. Was he the first one that you've worked with, or no?
The first one would have been Gail Kim, and she one day told me, I have a friend, he's very shy, I'd like to make the introduction, can you do gear for him? So he came to the house, and I started making all of his gear, and he's a lot of fun to work with. He's very good at changing his mind, and he always wants just to have some of the most unique color combinations there are. Then one day he's in the locker room with Jeff Jarrett, and Jeff was complimenting him on his gear, which to me was tremendous. And Christian suggested, hey, she lives local, she lives by me, why don't we get her to come work here? So that led to the phone call from Don Harris. So my job here at TNA came directly from Christian. But at that time, I had already been sewing for Kaz. I'd been sewing for him even before Gail. When he was in California and I was in Florida, it was strictly email and telephone. My first day here, I saw Frankie getting in line at catering, and I'd never met him, but I'd been sewing for him for years. So I go running up to him, Frankie, and he's looking at me like, who is this girl? Why is she backstage? I'm like,
this girl's stalking. This girl's stalking me. What happened? Security.
So I joke that that's our anniversary, because his first day was my first day here. So, but yeah, we'd been working together forever. And Christopher Daniels, I sewed for years. They're the kind of guys that I just love. They know exactly what they want, and they'll just tell me, hey, I need this color by this date, and it's just it's a never-ending cycle. I think that Frankie Kazarian might have more gear than any other man on the planet. But Robbie E. is trying to catch up, definitely.
So, see, from that, it led to a full-time job with a company, because you were doing it basically independent at that time and all. So, when this happens, what does your family think then? Your mom, and then also your other family members, if your son, and just everybody, when this is all happening for you?
It's definitely unique. The neighbors actually have more opinions than anyone else, because, you know, Gail comes to the house all the time. Frankie has come to the house. I have wrestlers coming in and out of my house all the time. My son has grown up.
Were any of the neighbors worried?
Yes.
Not knowing why all these people kept coming in and out.
As a matter of fact, yes. And my husband has walked in my office when I've been on my knees in front of a guy in his underwear. So fortunately, he's pretty understanding. It does make for some interesting speculation. But to my son, it's secondhand. He's used to watching wrestling, sitting there next to wrestlers. He's grown up wrestling with wrestlers. He doesn't, you know, I mean, when he was 3, Kurt Angle's telling him to eat his vegetables. You know, it's just been part of who he was growing up.
Is your mom
Yes.
here in Florida, or no?
Yes, she is. She's about an hour and a half away.
So, veterinarian, no, fashion, or no, something, no,
Yeah.
fashion, no, be veterinarian. Then it's like fashion, but now it's for this. So, what does mom say?
She actually doesn't. I think the main thing that she liked was the wrestling was a very close bond between my grandfather and I.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because he had always followed wrestling very, very strongly, which I didn't connect with at first. But it became every week when wrestling was on, I would call him just so we could talk and say, oh, I made that. Oh, this person, you know, and I would watch the show while he was on the phone. So she absolutely loved the fact that I would have a weekly phone call with my 96-year-old grandfather.
Oh, wow, God bless.
wrestling.
96.
So that she, more than anything, she loved that I had something special to do that bond with.
What's grandfather's name? First name?
Grandpa Frank.
Very good. Is he down in Florida too, or no?
He was in New York. He passed away last year.
Oh, he did. All right. Well,
But going through his stuff, there was a lot of, he saved all the, like one of my Christmas cards was, you know, me with Jay Lethal, and I had a magazine that I had a bunch of the guys sign and programs, so he kept all the memorabilia. He actually sent me a clipping from one of the newspapers in New York when we had a show in Westbury, and he had written the date on it and sent it to me. I still have that in my refrigerator.
That's amazing, though, and all, and that's just a great heartfelt thing to have that bond like that. You never know where you're going to be and what you're doing, and how that also is going to relate with others in the family and all. So, now you mentioned about also doing some work for those in England and Ireland. I mean, this has turned into like an international business.
Yes, it really is. I sew for wrestlers all over the world. Many years ago, this is probably 15 years ago, Adrian Lionheart in the UK, I made his very first gear and never heard from him again.
Was it just though something that happened through email or just through friends?
I had a website, so people would find me on the internet, and we'd strictly through email, because, you know, being in the UK, we didn't talk on the phone. And then I never heard from him again, and TNA's been doing so well over in the UK. I was talking to Karen Jarrett on Twitter, and he interjected and commented about how I had made his very first gear, and he still has it to this day. So I thought that was really neat.
See, now you're becoming the celebrity.
Absolutely.